Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the Serious Strategy Game, and we are returning to Hearts of Iron 4. It is early 1939, and we are about to trigger a couple of things that will ultimately, of course, kick the world into World War II. So, yeah, let's just go ahead and see what's going to happen. So, we've got our plan for Poland pretty much set up. All of our people are still training, and they are leading to some more army experience, which I think soon at least should give us the opportunity to invest into another doctrine, I would hope at least. We are a little bit shy on fuel still, and since the war is about to start and will drastically probably reduce our ability to import stuff, I do want to make sure that we are going to get some fuel here set up at least before the war, so maybe let's be a little bit more aggressive doing this. Right, Italy is coming close towards us. That is lovely. Also lovely is Großraumwirtschaft, because that does mean that we are going to get a lot more infrastructure. And we are currently building up a lot of our railway lines all the way over here. So I think that is pretty fantastic. Let's actually sort them a little bit in a way that does make sense, so that we finish the tough stuff first and then sort of only get the easy ones later. I think that would make some sense. Right? I don't know. Well, anyway, that should set us up nicely. We do, of course, need to set another one. And I was about to go for Danzig or War, which should be somewhere around here. Danzig or War, there it is. But I think one of the things that we should do before that is actually the Westwall. So let's get the Westwall done. That does increase the ability to defend against France. It is somewhat historical, so you know what? Let's do it. Sure, Italy is going to join us, and we're going to accept the non-aggression treaty here. Why are we still leaking fuel? That does not make a lot of sense to me. Right, it is 1939. Our infantry should be set up pretty nicely. All of our support companies are up to date. That is very, very lovely indeed. We could go for slightly better anti-tank stuff. I don't think that's really something that we need. So I suppose we could spend some love here on our naval equipment, because we really haven't done that, and that might be a good idea. Let's actually go for mine damage, because we actually do have quite a couple of mine layers, so I think that would be a good idea. And the other idea would be to maybe at least start building up some destroyers or light cruisers, some anti-submarine warfare capabilities and such. So let's try to get that going, because I think typically I tend to underestimate a little bit the UK's abilities to actually do anti-submarine warfare. Oh, that was a building sabotage there. Did I see that correctly? That's interesting. So yeah, that's exactly what it was, and it's actually one of the buildings that I would like to very much not be damaged. Right, we also have another doctrine available here, the Schwerpunkt, tank organization and recovery rate. I think we're going to unlock that. We're going to get a couple of points to do various things before the war starts anyway, so that should work out relatively nicely, I hope at least. And that should be good. Right, fuel, still increasing. We have enough trains for now at least. Fuel, well, it's actually still decreasing, I think, so where are we going to buy fuel from? Maybe 2 more from Iraq? Yeah, finally it is at least going up, even if it's not going up to the degree that I would love to see. Romania should be a good trade partner here. Yeah, okay, finally it's going up. I think also a couple of you actually noticed that I did not set up our fighters here to train. I think I actually accidentally clicked on air superiority. These guys are now training up. I don't think it's going to be sufficient for them to actually reach the new level here. Well, it might be. That would certainly help with the fuel situation quite a bit. Although, on the other hand, that'll probably be exactly the time when we also start to really get going. Radar done. That is lovely too. I don't think that gave us another bonus on our tanks, which are, of course, the focus here. But I do think this one will be another big shift towards that. So even though it's 1940 tech, let's actually do build that up. And before we go into that, I do want to build up the raid installations down here and up here as well. Right, and Moselland is a bit more important than the other stuff. Right, you're still continuing to build that. That's good. We have a little bit of a manpower shortage, but I think it's going to be alright. Yeah, and fuel is starting to look a little bit better here, so There we go, Westfall done. Let's go for Danziger War. So slightly behind the historical timeline here, but I think it's going to be alright. We're probably going to be still on the overall setting. And again, this is, you know, not entirely min-maxing sort of every little aspect here, but I think all in all we're going to be alright. Good. Logistics, medium tanks are a little bit shy, infantry equipment is starting to look a little bit high, but all in all that's going to be alright. We do have a lot of artillery left here, so I wonder, shall we... You guys do have RT, yeah you do. I'm guessing the Alpenjägers don't, so let's give them some support artillery. Yes, it's going to increase supply usage by about 50%. So they're not going to be exactly the light units that I was thinking of, but at least they are going to get some soft attack here, so yeah, I think that's a good change. Medium tanks, anything you should get? Signal company potentially, initiative. Planning done, join a battle. Coordination modifiers. It does sound tempting. We would need trucks, we would lose some organization, and we don't have that much organization to begin with. Supply usage goes down, but not by a lot. Piercing goes down actually, and armor. You know what? We're going to keep them as is. I think that's going to be alright. Cavalry brigade, these are pointless for the moment. You guys do have recon, that's okay. And everything else here is fine too. Yeah, I don't think we need anything else here. So yeah, let's just continue rolling with the time here and start to get into the war phase. And of course, then I'm going to dial down a little bit on the speed here. Speaking of, what do we have here? Oh, we do have the Gneisenau now. That's a new ship. And let's put that into the Hochseeflotte. And you guys are also going to be in the submarine fleet, which of course we are still producing like crazy over here. Yeah, we're producing one submarine every couple of days. So that is going to be pretty much our focus here, but I think we're going to be alright. Active sonar, that's good to get going. By the way, submarines, can we go for battle torpedo launches? We could. But we could also go for something like this. Yeah, let's do it. Better magnetic detonators are of course pretty good. Basic light flame tanks are being produced, but only in a very small amount, so 21, it's going to be fine. We're going to build some specialized divisions with that. Right. October. So we're going to start to see worse weather here, but I think it's going to be alright. Well, since we are starting to do Danziger War now, I think what we can do is actually stop with the exercises here. And get going normally. You know what? You guys, one of you, could potentially join the defensive group here. Starting to look a little bit too much, but I think it's going to be alright. Yeah, so now you guys should be able to get your organization back in time, hopefully, for the big push. That's going to be alright. Good. Yeah, still some low supply issues here and there, but I think we're going to be alright all in all. It's probably going to be a very short campaign in Poland. At least that's what I'm hoping. Right, full fuel, so that does mean we should trade a little bit less. So let's buy a little bit less from the Soviets, and I'm guessing, well, the Netherlands don't need our support either. So Romania should be fine. That's the scout plane. Lovely, but not a critical decision. Let's go for battle tactical bombers too. Close air support is tempting, but at least in Russia I do like a little bit of coverage, so that should be pretty good. We should potentially produce some of these scout planes now, shouldn't we? Yeah, there we go. Right, let's actually go to construction. Ooh, we are... Have we done all of the rail tracks already? Oh yeah, that's looking good. Oh nice, I didn't expect that to be done so quickly. We should potentially build some up to the west as well. Although I don't think it's gonna be quite as critical, but supposedly... Jesus, can I build anything down here? Yeah, but supposedly I think some lines over here might be good. Towards Aachen. And then some towards Moselland down here. I don't think this is as critical. We don't probably not gonna place as many units here. So, yeah, I think that's gonna be fine. What else can we then construct? No, sorry, construct. Yeah, we're doing these things. We are building up some R&D centers. think some synthetic refineries are fine. Let's build them in Austria. I think that's just very fitting. And you know what? We're going to build them down here too. Right. That's at least something. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Germany, of course, horrendous fuel supplies during the war, but okay, everything looks fine. Notice that these guys are actually a little bit short on stuff here. This October, almost 2 months late. There we go. Danzig War. They're refusing the ultimatum. What are we going to do next then? Army innovations might be interesting for more land doctrines once we are breaking into these there. Synthetic rubber also interesting because we're going to be falling shy of that very soon, I guess. So, naval rearmament. Some naval docks. Research bonuses, destroyer models and such. That's tempting. I would love to get some of these guys done. Oh, and it's actually very short timing on these. Only 35 days. Sometimes I really struggle sometimes to see that some of these are very short. So effectively you're getting 2 for the price of 1. But I'm thinking we should get going on the army innovations too. More tanks, more land doctrines. You know what? Let's do it. Poland refuses, and that means we can hopefully declare war. Yes, we can. That is good. We're going to do it. Right, there we go. This is the big one. So we're going to reduce timing here overall, and let's see. A couple of decisions are available. War propaganda? No, I don't think that's what we need. Emergency war factories? No. We're not going to spend the political power. We're not going to do this. Women in the workforce? Maybe later. But yeah, that's going to be alright. We are at war, of course we are. We have air wings with no missions. Yeah, let's change that. So you guys are going to be flying over Poland, and you too, but you, of course, in a close air support role. We're going to put everything on during the day, because I really don't know why the game isn't doing that from the start. But it just isn't. We could go for the more innovative bombing here of infrastructure. We're not going to do that because we really don't need to, especially not as Germany against Poland. In a longer campaign that might make some sense, but I think here it does not. Right, we're going to set up a couple of air defensive patrols here. These guys are mostly there to intercept enemy fighters, enemy bombers, which might come in to haunt us. You guys should potentially split up into 2 groups actually, but I think it's going to be alright for now. We're going to move the Task Force 2 here, the Schlesien and Schleswig-Holstein, as was historically. We're going to move them up into this area here to provide some cover. And then these mine layers are going to provide some mine laying in the... sorry guys, could you provide some mine laying in these 2 areas here? Just to prevent the British from moving in too aggressively. Then we could start our campaign here. I'm going to ignore that for the moment because we're mostly going to be focused on Poland itself. Right, you guys are fine defending over here, hopefully at least. So let's just start the offensive plans on all of our guys here, except for these guys, of course. Just in Poland, everyone should get going. We're going to de-accelerate time here and just see how things are going to kick off. And let's actually take a brief look here. So we are short on supply, we expected that. We are not filling out the entire combat width here, even with our stuff, but at least our tanks seem to be holding well. They can't pierce us. Do we actually have an idea of their piercing value? Piercing 4. Okay, that's pretty nice. That's a far cry from what they could be using to pierce us. Same over here. Do we have a cavalry division maybe? Yeah, that's same. So at least these guys are not particularly threatening in that regard. Don't see the French attacking either, at least not immediately. That's good to see too. Some supply issues, but all in all I think we are starting to break through the first places here. So that is nice. You know, it's not technically your part of the front line, but let's actually start supporting over there. You guys have actually already conquered Danzig, and we are seeing some support over here, so that is nice. They are going to send us some supply, which I'm going to be happy about. Let's actually support this attack too. I really don't know why you guys are doing this all of the time. Why can't you just keep a proper front line? Just doesn't make that much sense to me. Right, you guys are fine-ish over here. You know what, let's send most of you towards Danzig itself. And then we can maybe flank around there. Some pushes here in this direction, that's lovely to see. And we are already on the outskirts of Warsaw. I didn't even notice that. Let's try to get at least one of these guys down here, one of the motorized brigades. One of them towards Lodz itself, one of them back over here. And then you guys can also try to flank into their rear. And just try to push up pretty aggressively here around Warsaw. Really, just try to make sure that we are capturing all of these guys, as was done historically, in a pretty big pocket, which I would very much appreciate. Good. Let's try to get you down here too. It's unfortunate that Lodz has been cut off now. Sorry, has actually been occupied. We're actually losing this defensive battle, but I think overall we are probably going to be alright. These tanks are exposed to an attack here, so let's try to get around there. If we're going to bleed them dry on that attack, I'm going to be happy about that. Let's try to advance into here, cut off these two guys, make a quick pocket out of that. And you know what? One of you guys at least should really move into Krakow because it's empty. And another one should potentially move into Kielce. Oh Jesus, I don't know how to pronounce that. Right, good movements over here. This is probably gonna very soon screw up the entire frontline system of the game. But for now it's working. Yeah, well, it's kind of working. Really, sometimes the game... Sometimes it's really odd. Oh, we do already have 3 military factories. What are we short on? Nothing really, only just tactical bombers. So maybe some more scout planes would be appropriate. And I do think, did we get the... Oh, yeah, we did get the railway gun. I think we never built it. So let's do that with an extremely high priority here. I would love to get some of these guys. Right, tungsten deals have also broken down. So let's ask Portugal for some of that. Don't see any naval stuff yet. But notice that. Just beautifully squeezed them in two. Let's do an attack on Warsaw itself. I think they are pretty weak here, so maybe that is going to be useful. Right, you guys, fine over here. Let's try to cut them into further pieces. Would be most lovely. Yeah, Warsaw really needs to fall. Right, let's get you there. Let's get you towards Lublin. We're stalling a little bit on this side of the front, but all in all, it doesn't seem to be too bad for now. I think once we have Warsaw, we're going to be pretty much alright. Notice this is day 3 of the campaign, and just, yeah, it's collapsing. We're losing some trains due to airstrikes, so let's actually take a look here. So, interestingly enough, they are attacking in southern Germany. They've got a lot of fighters and stuff down here. We haven't lost any fighters yet, it seems. They're losing some aircraft. Not particularly happy about that, but probably it's just going to be the way it is for the moment. Let's build some convoys. I have a feeling we might be losing some soon. Right, why are so few of you actually attacking? Why? How does that make any sense? Yeah, but I don't think Warsaw has fallen already. Yeah, most of their fleets, sorry, most of their army is actually truly located here in the place where it really doesn't make much sense for them. All along the front line, where they really should be falling down pretty soon. Yeah, see, some submarines, British submarines. They are building more of them than you would think. Historically, maybe the UK was not a big, well-known, let's say, for using submarines in World War II. Although they did, of course they did. And I think they had one of the few submarine-on-submarine activities in actions in World War II. Or one of the first, I think the first sinking of a submarine by another submerged submarine, at least, was by one of the UK's submarines pretty late in the war, I think somewhere off the coast of Norway or something. But still, they did do that. On the other hand, of course, they had somewhat of a more target-rich environment compared to some of the other nations. Right, why are you not attacking here? Just attack. Finish off these pockets. I really want to be done with that. Let's keep an eye on France. France is doing nothing, as we expected. Danzig itself has been captured, but Gdynia, which I think is actually the port, so yeah, again, that might be somewhat historical that they did not get overwhelmed there easily. But finally we did it, so yeah, reducing further off these pockets, lovely. Come on, just support these attacks, guys. It's not that difficult. Your colleagues are attacking over here, and we need the front line and the reinforcements. Notice that they have no equipment, basically. So that is pretty good. We already have more free military factories here. So, yeah, we are building these guys. We can't build more of them, really. So, I guess let's actually build more Panzers. This is always useful, as is artillery, as is support equipment. But that does also mean that we need more tungsten. Oh, no. Let's buy some. And some chromium, which Turkey seems to be a good deliverer of. There we go. Right, we are still losing trains, but I think we are going to be fine. We do have some trains left over, so shouldn't be too bad. I'm wondering a little bit why they're not giving up, though. Let's continue to capture some of these victory points. Poznan is their current capital. Yeah, the AI just loves to bob around all over the place and send troops this way, that way, this way. And it's just not a very good strategy. Right, let's get to Grodno. Let's get you guys over there. You guys can get into the Pripyat marshes, I think. Yeah, it is already the Pripyat marshes. You guys can actually try to flank. How about that? Let's try to cut them off. Come on, guys. Come on. I know you want to give up. There we go. There we go. So, support equipment, military equipment, some other equipment, some bombers, civilian trains, fighters. Couple of weapons too, improved artillery. I'm wondering whether we get any tanks. I think Poland was one of the famous nations to make actually use of the Christie suspension. But yeah. Right, okay, no big surprise here. We did win against Poland. Not the greatest surprise, really. Let's make sure that we are defending all of our coastline, because I tend to forget about these things, and that's not good. And actually, Eastern North Sea is an area here that does seem to be on the radar of the UK. So, shall we guard against anything else here? Air bases, railway hubs? No, that's too much. Coastline? No, that's going to be too much. Victory points? Yeah, I guess we can guard that too. Right, there we go. So all of you guys have done your job. That is lovely and fairly nice of you. So I think the next actions are going to be... What's actually our army innovations? Yeah, our next step is going to be to go for... Ooh. That's submarines of the French. So yeah, we're going to go somewhat historical. So we're going to go on the northern route here with Denmark, Norway. And then ultimately, in 1940, we're going to go through the Low Countries into France and see what they have in terms of tanks. I'm really intrigued about that. But that is, of course, going to take a moment here. And I think this is a good place to put in a cut, because in between episodes, I will do some reorganization here. Move all of our forces basically a little bit close towards the front line and get ready for some further action. So, That being said, I hope you enjoyed. Do let me know your thoughts about the performance of our tanks here. You can see the organization is incredibly low, but I think they did fairly well. I don't see a lot of gaps here. Well, of course, these are mostly the tanks that we captured, so we're actually still using Panzer Is probably in our frontline forces. But on the other hand, we are also increasingly using the Panzer IIIs here. So that is nice, and I think once we get the new radar station and the new radar element here, we can potentially upgrade them and potentially retrofit them too. We're going to get some new technology here from our fighters, and that is also going to be very exciting. So, that being said, do leave a like and everything, and I hope to see you around next time. Bye bye, guys.